What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you a World of Tanks gameplay commentary. It will be another submission from Bondar007 in his BatChat.25t, and it is going to be a standard battle on Airfield. Obviously, a tier 10 battle being in the BatChat, and it is also going to be the continuation of 9.9 if you could not tell by the playlist it is located in and the thumbnail for the video. So, right away we can see it's a strongly... like the majority of tanks in this match are tier 10. I was going to say a strongly tier 10 oriented game with a handful of tier 9s and a handful of light tanks to function as scouts, as well as flanking vehicles if they can get those opportunities. But right now we do see Bondar platooned up with clanmates as Delta, who I think we've seen him platooned up with in the past, and Killer Marksman Invader. So apparently trying to get some good mojo going with his name there, I suppose. Maybe he thinks if his name says it, he'll earn it a bit more often. I don't know. Maybe just reminders of what he should be aiming for. A little hard to get some of those in an IS-4, though. I mean, IS-4 not the most exact, the most accurate of tanks, and not the fastest of tanks. So Marksman, otherwise known as in the game, I would assume is what he means by that is Tanksman, Tanker Sniper, and Invader, I mean... Come on, it's not going to happen, but ooh, his ally is really lagging behind the STI and the IS-4 finally coming to help. All he's got with him right now is that friendly STB-1, but there's not a whole lot of enemy vehicles over here either. Yogzilla way back in the distance, an enemy E-100 sitting on base. What is this match right now? A T-57 Heavy is on the hill just to his right. And there are some tanks in the south, but a 215 Bravo heavy tank, as well as a friendly, I'm assuming, IS-7 down there. Are they platooned up? No, so Bondar's platoon is the only one in this match. That E-100 coming down from the base, I don't see any... Ooh. So right there, he was trying to get a shot on the upper armor. Ooh, and a good shot to the turret. A second good shot to the turret. Will he get a third? He will not. He's possibly going to try and shoot him in the front wheel to track him, and he actually will achieve that. BatChat, not the most accurate of tanks, but proving to have some RNG on its side right now. A friendly Artie is in danger to this enemy BatChat blitzing the base. The T-92 could derp it, but that enemy BatChat is getting kind of assaulted as he rolls in, and a derp is very possible. I wonder if the 92 is prepared for that and if he'll have enough RNG on his side to make it. The mouse moving in. I did not take note of how heavy the enemy team was with the Yogzilla, the IS-7, the E-100, and the mouse. Right now, looks like Marksman, or I guess Killer, and Delta are in a bit of trouble. And Bondar having a little bit of trouble here penetrating the mouse, who he will get another shot into. The mouse possibly going to die here, dodging the shot. I don't even know how that dodge happened. There was a little bit of erratic driving on Bondar's behalf, but ooh, trying to shoot for that cogwheel and not getting it. Sometimes the mouse does eat those shells into its side skirts like that. Right now, Bondar recognizes he's reloading. He really has to get out of here. There's nothing he can do for his team as they are getting overwhelmed by the vast majority of the enemy forces here on this hill right next to the airfield. And there is a Waffenträger in the rear, as we can tell by the mini-map, providing fire support to the enemy team. Looks like he might get shot up here quite a little bit, but he will get away with only one hit for damage. Yes, one hit for damage. I wasn't quite sure if he was going to get shot again. The enemy BatChat did manage to kill the friendly Artie, and then friendly E-100 is going back to base to address the threat, although it looks like, Bondar's team is quickly falling to pieces. Looks like Killer was just finally taken out there by a 121, finally falling after putting a valiant fight, a T-57 Heavy and a friendly 1390, moving into the fray on the hill. While Bondar wants to address this BatChat near his base, he wants to perform a pincer maneuver with his allied E-100, who did just fire a shot, making that enemy BatChat near death, and Bondar will more likely than not get the kill shot. There he goes. So kill number one finally for Bondar. Delta did get one kill in his ST1, the STI, whatever you want to call it, before he did die. And unfortunately, Killer didn't get any kills, ironically enough, in his IS-4. So like I said, just goes to show, putting it in your name does not make you more effective at it. It just doesn't. Not the way it works. That Yogzilla still at full health, taking shots at the underplate, the lower glacis, from this distance with a BatChat, you're going to have some really good RNG to make those shots. But he did try. The 1390 providing a little bit of trouble here to the 215 heavy, and the Yogzilla really the biggest threat to that. The IS-7 probably going to die, and he does. Ooh, that Yogzilla firing what I assume was, at least what I hope for his sake, was a high explosive shell at the IS-7. If not, he would have wasted a whole lot of damage into a near dead tank, but I guess it's not really wasted if it removes a tier 10 gun from this game. Bondar surprisingly not taking any damage there, almost getting stuck, but he is able to maneuver his tank right out of that. And the 215B falling back, friendly forces needing to regroup and defend the base against what are the auto-loading menace of the enemy team, the Waffenträger, the T-57 Heavy, and two 1390s in the middle. Bondar currently reloading and unable to do anything to really save his 215B ally. Thinking for a second I thought he was going to ram that 1390, but he does instead dodge the shot by charging him head on, and now they're both reloading, but Bondar obviously is going to reload first because he started loading much sooner. And the 215 calling Bondar a noob and saying he's screwing his mother. How dare he? Well, I guess we can't really ask for much more than that 215's demise. We'll see in post-game stats how well or poorly he did, if he really has any ground to stand on making those accusations. And I mean, the 215B really sounding like more of the noob, just due to the fact that, well, the BatChat was reloading. It was very obvious the BatChat was reloading. That's why he fell off the hill in the first place. So how can you expect a BatChat to help you? And why would you even call him a noob for not being able to help you if he's still reloading, and you should know he's still reloading? So the Yogzilla managing to get a kill on the E100. Bondar loading heat to have a bit of a better time at getting through this Yogzilla's armor, but he does have complete side and rear shots. The Yogzilla either oblivious or just possibly now noticing. But, oh yeah, he's just going to take it. And he can possibly die from full health here. But Bondar has to get some good high rolls. And it's now completely out of the question. So, unable to kill the Yogzilla. And all that remains for Bondar on the enemy team are one-shot vehicles, to include this Yogzilla. But he's hugging it and possibly could die to that BatChat already. The Waffenträger's barely alive here, but for everyone on the enemy team, Bondar is a one-shot as well, so it's going to come down to a lot of getting that first shot, first hit, really, more than anything, off on those enemy vehicles. And he does have the right tank to do it. Having an autoloader gives him the perfect opportunity to really handle any sort of situation. Even if they all come at him at the same time, he can still handle it. And we did just hear the artillery take a shot at him right there. Probably not going to take any blind shots due to the fact he wants to have the 3 other shells in the magazine to lob at him when Bondar comes for him. So really anyone's match right now. Bondar at 4 kills and could quite potentially pull off not a Kolobanov's, unfortunately, but a Top Gun, and possibly, I would assume, a high caliber. I mean, he is literally going to use almost every shell in his tank. He might use every shell in his tank by the time this is through. Even though 3 vehicles left, 3 shots, and he's got 6 shells, he could miss them. He could get shots into tracks. He could ricochet on the Yogzilla. He could ricochet on the Waffenträger, the Waffle Monster, if he hits it in the hull. I mean, chances are pretty good he won't hit it in the hull. It's got a massive glass, paper armor turret, but stranger things have happened. Obviously, the BatChat is long gone by now, having that mobility of the French arty. People joke about all the time, one of the best things the French vehicles are good at in the game is running away. And haha, French surrender, the classic jokes about, but I mean, in all seriousness, it is a strength in this game, and we see that in the BatChat here, even paper armor, but man, can it put out the damage, and it can really get a lot of mobility on the battlefield. Getting a great spot on that Waffenträger, not even getting lit up. The Waffle never even, well, of course it knew what hit it, but it never saw what hit it. That's for sure. The BatChat certainly having a great view range. The 1390 saying good job or great job. I'm going to go with great job. It's a lot more encouraging. The 1390 asking about shields. Of course he means shells. And Bondar responds that he's got 5, 4 of which are loaded. So not the optimal situation, but he certainly does not want to queue a reload right now. He knows there is one vehicle on the friendly base, most likely the Auxilla, with artillery scoped in on his position to provide fire support. No, it is actually the artillery piece, an unexpected twist, but the artillery, not a one-shot, but a two-shot. That is a little, well, I suppose it isn't unexpected, considering if the artillery was doing his job right, he wouldn't have been spotted. Not quite sure what Bondar's doing right there. Maybe, okay, actually, I do, because the artillery spotted him. He was waiting for the spotting to be lost, so the Auxilla wouldn't have lights on him and wouldn't necessarily know where he was going either. He didn't want to keep driving forward. He wanted to make it look like maybe he was turning around. He wanted to outsmart the Auxilla. I'm not quite sure how smart that Auxilla is due to his apparent failure to notice Bondar earlier and let him get right behind him and fire a full clip into him. But he does have 3 kills at this point, and he could potentially have kill number 4 here. It's down to a 1v1. Bondar's already secured Top Gun for himself, so very well done, sir. And we will knocking down that tree, possibly intentional, maybe trying to bait a shot from the Auxilla, thinking he can fire at where that tree went down. I mean, the way he knocked down that tree, very intelligent. Just backed into it and then immediately drove forward. And view range coming into handy right there, the Auxilla getting taken out. And here we go with those post-game stats, seeing Mastery Badge, Ace Tanker, Fire for Effect, Duelist, Hand of God, and Bruiser. Getting himself high caliber like I predicted, and Top Gun, kind of expected, especially with the number of vehicles he managed to damage and destroy, some of which he just... I don't know why these are on the list. I can only assume ricochets? I didn't notice ricochets on a 121 or E50, so I'm kind of confused as to why those 2 vehicles are there. But I'm sure if you guys go back in the footage, or maybe you noticed the first time around, but I don't think it's really significant. But comparing vehicles on both teams, we don't need to see his because we got detailed report. What am I talking about? We're in the post-game stats. I mean, professionalism, yeah. But 11 shots fired, 10 for 10 on hits and penetrations. A whole lot of damage done for this guy on the enemy team, top performer. The artillery doing quite a bit of fire support there as well. The E50 also doing pretty good. I mean, a lot of good performers for the enemy team. Really well done across the board, except for that E100 who, I mean, was on base and then got loaded into a little bit by Bondar and then got tracked and then taken out. So not the smartest plays by that E100, to say the least. Certainly not a way I would have played that vehicle, but that 121 doing a little bit of sniping as well, and managing, even still, with a good chunk of his damage being done from a distance of more than 300 meters, a perfect, near perfect ratio. So kind of surprising he didn't get Tanker Sniper on that one. Did the E50 get it? No, he got Confederate. 17 shots fired, 14 for 9 on hits and penetrations. So did manage to damage 8 vehicles and only destroyed 1. That kind of explains a lot of things. So 215B, apparently talking some trash, but also carrying some weight, 3 kills, and quite a bit of damage as well to boot. So not exactly a poor performer, but a poor sport, and he certainly had a poor attitude about things. A little butthurt that a reloading BatChat couldn't save him. I mean, really, how ignorant can you get in World of Tanks? His buddy Killer actually doing quite a bit of damage, so no kills, but doing more than his tank's hit points and damage, just barely. The IS-4, for those unaware, has 2,500 hit points, so just barely. Still doing all right for himself. The STI in a tier 10 matchup like this, I would say he did all right. No damage blocked by armor. That's a little unexpected from an STI, but the IS-4, on the other hand, damage blocked by armor over 2,000, so certainly worth noting. And I was just kind of curious about the 215, but I think we've lingered enough on this for sure. I was just curious about the E100s, however, because it's always good to look at those. And the mouse, I mean, how can we not look at the mouse? Where's the mouse? Not doing too hot for himself, and not a whole lot of damage blocked by armor. Unfortunate. But 28 shots fired, 27 of those finding their mark, and only 20 managing to get through that armor. A lot from a distance of 300 meters. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, about a quarter, a little less than a quarter of the damage done from a distance of more than 300 meters. And then a good chunk of it just, I mean, over 6,700. That's good regardless, that's a good match. I would take that any day. Quite a bit of driving, but he did go back and forth between both hills on the map, the seaside and the airfield hill, and then decided to go to the enemy base and search around there, and then go back to his base. So certainly going to run around the map quite a bit. A little bit of damage due to his assistance, that's always nice, but 9 for 7 on damaged and destroyed, 3 of the enemy vehicles being spotted. Losing credits, but I mean, that's going to happen in a bat chat where you lose most of your health and you fire your heat clip and you don't run premium. I mean, he would have made profit if he was running premium, but that's tier 10s for you. That is just the way tier 10s roll. You're going to lose credits a lot of the time when you're not running premium account status. It's just a cost of the game. But received a good amount of experience, would have received a good chunk more had he been running premium, as is always the case, but still very respectable and very well played. However, that will about wrap it up for this video. So if you liked this video, if you enjoyed it, please consider hitting that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you got something you want to share or suggest in relation to this video, my other videos, or my channel, comment section. And if you've got a replay you think I should do a commentary on, description has instructions on how to submit, as well as a whole bunch of other info. But until next time, this has been Spang, and clearly, I'm just oh so professional.
MLG.